When burglars choose the wrong target, their schemes might fail spectacularly. Whether it's an enraged homeowner armed with a kitchen appliance or a burglar who neglected to check if the front door was locked, results can be both hilarious and eye-opening. Get ready to see the top 20 instances where criminals faced off against more than they bargained for. Thief versus frying pan. In a stunning change of events, a Chicago homeowner deterred a potential thief with nothing more than a frying pan. On a tense afternoon, at 3 p.m., Jason Williams received an alert from his security app indicating a break-in. Rather than sitting passively, he grabbed the nearest available weapon, a trusty frying pan, and prepared to protect his home. As the intruder stumbles down the steps, Williams leaps into action, brandishing the frying pan with ferocity. The scene unfolded like a cartoon, with Williams chasing the perplexed burglar out of his house while swinging the pan with tremendous force. The altercation was captured on camera, with the burglar racing through the front yard while Williams pursued him. Williams delivered a decisive strike that not only created a substantial dent in the pan, but also chased the would-be thief away. The police arrived quickly and captured the burglar, who had not moved far. Meanwhile, Williams posted photos of his heroic defense on social media, featuring the now dented frying pan and the burglar sprawled on the ground. Despite his wife's fears, Williams joked about needing a new pan for his seafood meal, seemingly unconcerned about the day's events. Defeating Optimus Prime. In terms of notable disguises, an Optimus Prime mask may not immediately come to mind as an option for a criminal. However, it played a significant role in Ryan Flores' spectacular and strange robbery attempt at a Starbucks in Fresno, California. On that fateful day, Flores ordered that the cashier hand over all of the money in the register, armed with a knife and a handgun. Despite his intimidating demeanor and threats, he hurriedly assured the cashier that he had no intention of harming her, claiming that he was behaving out of desperation for his children. The event became wild when a brave bystander decided to interfere. Armed with only a metal chair, this unlikely hero made a surprise attack on Flores from behind. The confrontation quickly turned violent, resulting in many stab wounds for both Flores and the brave client. Despite his injuries, Flores attempted to flee the scene, but police were quick to respond. They were able to track him down and catch him before he could travel far. In this bizarre turn of events, the Optimus Prime mask, which is often a sign of heroism and power, became an ironic symbol of criminal intent and surprising bravery. Face-off. On a seemingly regular Sunday night in Marionville, Missouri, a liquor shop clerk surprised an armed robber who had overestimated his resolve. The event occurred while John Lewis Alexander, a seasoned war veteran and former prison guard, was working the cash register. His evening routine was broken when a man stepped into the store and proudly smoked a cigarette, in violation of the store's rules. Alexander, firm in his adherence to the regulations, gently requested that the customer extinguish his cigarette. What happened next was spectacular and surprising. The buyer, revealing his actual intentions, drew his rifle and pointed it directly at Alexander. However, the scenario took a drastic turn when Alexander, with great composure and experience, replied quickly by pulling his own handgun. In seconds, he had the rifle pointed directly at the would-be robber's face. The altercation, which lasted only 11 seconds from the moment the armed man arrived, demonstrated Alexander's calm demeanor and tactical prowess. Shirtless Robber. A man holding a hammer came into the business, causing confusion and dread. In a fit of rage, he brandished bear repellent and sprayed it indiscriminately on both personnel and customers. His wrath appeared limitless as he shifted his attention to the display cases, destroying them with reckless abandon in a frenzied frenzy of devastation. Instead of giving up, 3 brave staff took on the challenge. "My uncle, dad, and I were pulling him out," one of them said, his voice full of passion. "I was fighting to protect my family because he was assaulting my father and uncle." The scene, which was captured on film, is both captivating and intense. The video shows the trio punching, kicking, and even using a giant stick to subdue the invader. Their combined efforts, motivated by pure bravery and familial loyalty, were successful in forcing the aggressor out of the store. As the altercation escalated, one of the staff grabbed the man's shirt as he attempted to flee through the front door. In his hasty attempt to run, the burglar wriggled free, his pants falling down and exposing him to the camera lens. Undeterred, the diligent staff pursued him down the street. Do not bring a knife to a gunfight. On 18th December 2017, a would-be robber received a hard lesson about the dangers of mismatched armament after an unsuccessful attempt to hold up a BP gas station in Newport, Michigan. The entire sequence of events was filmed by the station's surveillance cameras, transforming a potentially hazardous scenario into a dramatic demonstration of quick thinking and ironic justice. The robber, disguised by a green bandana, swaggered into the gas station, brandishing a huge knife and exuding false confidence as he demanded money from the clerk. His confidence, however, was short-lived. The gas station clerk, displaying great coolness under pressure, refused to cave to fear. Instead, he stayed composed and took a measured step back, gently reaching beneath the counter. What the clerk retrieved was crucial. He pulled out a weapon, a decisive gesture that tipped the scales of power. When confronted with the unexpected appearance of a gun, the would-be robber's confidence disappeared. In stark contrast to his earlier anger, he appeared perplexed and anxious. The robber quickly recognized that his knife was no match for the weaponry directed at him. Overwhelmed by the exhibition of force and realizing his predicament, the robber fled the scene in a hurry. Fighting two robbers. In a stunning display of bravery, an unidentified Montreal homeowner confronted two criminals who had broken into his garage in the middle of the night. The dramatic fight, filmed on the home's video cameras, depicts a gripping tale of bravery and endurance. Under the cover of darkness, two thieves dressed in black and wearing balaclavas were caught on tape breaking into the garage. The burglars, concentrated on their dastardly mission, took out white plastic bags from their pockets and prepared to load them with stolen goods. Their plans were unexpectedly halted by the homeowner's unexpected and daring intervention. The resident, dressed just in orange board shorts, jumped into action. He plunged into the melee, disregarding his own safety, and quickly subdued one of the robbers with his bare hands. The unexpected turn of events threw both invaders into a state of fear. In their desperate attempt to flee, they tried to do so through the very door they had forced open. During the pandemonium, the homeowner yelled for someone to call 911 while grappling with the burglar he had managed to pull back into the garage. During the battle, one of the robber's balaclavas came off, revealing his identity. The observant homeowner seized the opportunity and quickly secured the garage door, effectively detaining the second invader and preventing him from inflicting further damage or posing new threats. Gasoline Attack. A fascinating film, first uploaded on Reddit, teaches a captivating lesson about the art of self-defense and the surprising methods people can use to protect themselves. The clip shows a tense fight at a petrol station that develops with incredible speed and intensity, emphasizing the dangers of targeting unsuspecting people. In the footage, a customer is peacefully filling his vehicle's tank with either fuel or gasoline when a white van approaches him. Without unexpectedly, three hooded men emerge from the truck and approach the unwary customer, their intentions clearly hostile. The scene is fraught with suspense as the customer, who appears outnumbered and confined, faces an imminent threat. What comes next is nothing short of remarkable. In a quick reaction, the customer grabs the gasoline hose and transforms it into an improvised weapon. He begins spraying the would-be robbers with gasoline, causing complete chaos. The unexpected deluge of gasoline confuses and scrambles the attackers. Two of the men flee, attempting to escape the slick and combustible fluid that is now coating them. The third intruder, who tries to circumvent the automobile to get to the driver's seat, is met by a steady stream of gasoline from the determined car owner. The white vehicle, now soaked in gas and with its occupants in disarray, accelerates away from the scene. The three hooded guys, now covered in gasoline, race after their fleeing vehicle, their former anger giving way to pure panic. Woman kicks, robber out. Angela Goncalves of Paranagua, Brazil, documented a horrific yet astonishing experience on camera, which began with her enjoying a carefree dance at home. The video starts with Goncalves dancing cheerfully, but rapidly takes a dark turn as an unidentified man figure appears in the distance, possibly lurking in her yard. The intruder, motivated by malice, eventually chooses to enter her home and positions himself uncomfortably in her living space. Goncalves first maintains a calm manner in the face of the incursion. However, her demeanor quickly changes when the intruder attempts to grab her. She reacts instinctively, unleashing a fierce and resolute energy to repel her attacker. In an incredible show of bravery, she chases the intruder away with a flurry of kicks and punches, including an astonishing mid-air karate kick. Throughout the confrontation, she calls the invader mad, expressing her amazement and determination. In an honest Facebook post, Goncalves recounted her initial reaction as uncertainty, during which she pretended to know the intruder. However, when his goals became evident, her inner pit bull instincts kicked in, driving her to fight back with unshakable determination. Later, Goncalves told local media about her disturbed dance session, stating that she did so to raise awareness among other women. Drinks worth stealing. In a humorous twist of fate, a would-be thief's effort to steal from a bottle shop in Beachboro, Perth, turned comically ludicrous, as seen on security cameras. The incident, which occurred in broad daylight, involved a man dressed in a plaid shirt who initially appeared to be committing a textbook heist. He walked inside the bottle shop, picked a 12-pack of drinks from the racks, and made his way to the counter with a carefree demeanor. The thief's plan to flee quickly came undone as he reached the sliding glass doors leading to the street. Unbeknownst to him, the doors had been secured with a magnet, firmly shut. The scene that ensued was nothing short of absurd. The would-be robber was frustrated and strained to wrench the doors open, his efforts becoming increasingly desperate. Meanwhile, the store attendant stayed behind the counter, watching the entire scene unfold with a calm and puzzled expression. Recognizing that his escape was impossible, the burglar accepted his destiny. In a moment of reluctant acceptance, he returned to the counter, set down the 12-pack of drinks, and sheepishly fled the store. Cowboy saves the day. Before engaging in the daring and reckless act of displaying a pistol for robbery, one would expect a criminal to carefully analyze their surroundings. However, one daring assailant found the bitter reality of his mistake in a dramatic manner. The incident began when the robber, determined on his crime, approached the cash register with his handgun in hand, his mind set on the ill-gotten money he desired. Unnoticed, a man in a cowboy hat had quietly positioned himself in front of the cashier, waiting for the right opportunity. As the assailant became distracted, either due to his own boldness or the hectic nature of the crime, the man with the cowboy hat sprung into action. Seizing the moment, he raced forward with incredible speed and force, tackling the thief and removing the gun from his grasp. The weapon clattered to the floor, rendered ineffective by the quick intervention. During the following confusion, another store employee quickly grabbed the fallen handgun, keeping it out of the criminal's reach. Disoriented and scared, the would-be thief dashed for the door, shirtless and plainly shaken. But his escape was short-lived. A brave store employee, with unflinching conviction, pursued the fleeing thief and effectively stopped his escape. Trap set for Amazon packages. Carlos Magia, sick with the continuous thefts that plague his area, devised an intelligent plan to catch a porch pirate in the act. Tired of having critical shipments stolen from his porch, including a $1,500 jacket, Magia decided to put up a trap. His bait? A supposedly appealing bundle containing outdated French fries using puppy pads and, most infamously, dog excrement. On the day of the trap, Magia carefully placed the decoy package on his porch, waiting for a thief to take the bait. When a would-be thief fell for the trap, Magia jumped into action. He challenged the thief with a baseball bat and captured the epic showdown on tape. The video, which rapidly went viral, showed Magia's harsh but controlled handling of the situation as he held down the thief until police came. The thief, Victor Stazone, was arrested for stealing and trespassing. Law enforcement, although praising Magia's inventiveness, warned that taking matters into one's own hands can be dangerous, especially if the criminal is armed. Fortunately, no one was wounded in the incident. Battery shop. The disturbing security footage from a recent burglary shows a perfectly planned and savage heist carried out by 4 criminals riding 2 motorcycles. Their plan materialized when 2 of the assailants stormed into a battery shop with shocking violence, while the other 2 waited outside, ostensibly to keep watch and control any potential escape routes. Inside the shop, the 2 burglars swiftly exposed their malevolent intentions. They forcibly assaulted both shop owners and customers, gathering them together and demanding that they hand up all of their money. This horrible spectacle of intimidation and brutality concluded with the robbers securing their stolen cash and ready to flee. A critical aspect of their plan had been missed. A diligent man had been silently waiting for the proper moment inside a small, hidden compartment in the business. He appeared as the robbers were escaping, seizing the opportunity to shoot fire on them. The quick gunfire panicked the intruders, yet despite the pandemonium, 3 of the thieves managed to flee the area. However, the injured robber took the brunt of the attack. With severe back wounds, he fought to leave, but eventually collapsed on a nearby service road, fainting from the severity of his injuries. The CCTV tape shows this dramatic moment when he collapses, emphasizing the seriousness of the confrontation. Following this violent incident, a criminal complaint was immediately filed, and officials launched a massive manhunt to arrest the 3 thieves who had successfully escaped. Facebook fumble. In an astonishing twist of fate, Trevor Jones, a burglary suspect in Gwinnett County, Georgia, became entangled in an obvious technology error. Stephanie White got home to find an unusual vehicle parked in her driveway, setting off a bizarre chain of events. Sensing something was wrong, White approached the car, discovered the engine was running, and turned it off before collecting a wallet from between the front seats. Her quick and bold acts demonstrated her ingenuity in a potentially dangerous circumstance. However, the fascination grew when Jones, the car's owner and suspected burglar, attempted a daring escape. With his getaway car inoperable, he took an adventurous plunge into a nearby little lake, possibly intending to avoid detection by merging into the water's blackness. This brave maneuver temporarily masked his location, but his departure did not go as smoothly as he had intended. Jones's luck took another turn when he inadvertently left a critical digital trail. After fleeing his initial crime scene, he went after a neighboring home. Unfortunately for Jones, his hasty exit caused him to utilize the neighbor's laptop. In his haste, he signed into his Facebook account, but notably failed to log out. This seemingly minor error proved to be his undoing. When the neighbors returned home, they discovered not just pools of water left over after Jones's escape, but also an unexpected digital hint. While investigating the second burglary, the police learned that Jones had accessed his Facebook account on the neighbor's laptop. This negligent deed created a digital fingerprint that law enforcement could not ignore, leading them directly to Jones. Fast clerk. When an armed burglar attempted to steal from a liquor store in Marionville, Missouri, he ran across an unexpected and formidable opponent. John Lewis Alexander, a seasoned war veteran and former jail guard with extensive experience in high-stress situations, was in charge of the cash register that day. The thief, dressed casually and smoking a cigarette, entered the business with seeming confidence, oblivious of the skill set he was about to face. According to the store's policies, Alexander asked the man to put out his cigarette. The incident quickly escalated when the thief answered with a firearm, clearly intensifying the conflict. Despite the immediate threat, Alexander's military background and calm manner stood out. With incredible elegance, he displayed reflexes honed over years of intense training. Alexander quickly swatted the thief's weapon aside and pulled his own handgun with precision. Alexander's counterattack aimed squarely at the would-be robber's face quickly changed the dynamics of the battle. The robber, faced with an unrelenting and persistent opponent, had no choice but to flee. Defeated and discouraged, he abandoned his illegal ambitions and fled the site. Catching a thief. In an unexpected turn of events in Campeche, a port city on the Gulf of Mexico, a bakery employee exhibited extraordinary resourcefulness and composure in stopping an armed thief. The incident began with a scary declaration and escalated into a dramatic conflict, all filmed on the bakery's CCTV cameras. The event started when a violent man walked into the bakery, brandishing a firearm and threateningly stating, "This is a robbery. I am prepared." His aggressive demeanor and demand for cash from the register created a palpable sense of tension. Despite the dangerous conditions, the female employee maintained a calm manner that contrasted sharply with the gravity of the scenario. As the robber became more upset, his attempts to frighten the employee into complying were greeted with a calm answer. While he raided the counter, demanding the employee's smartphone, she carefully used the opportunity to carry out her plan. With the thief's attention diverted and his aggravation growing, the employee discreetly slipped outside and quickly closed and locked the bakery gate. Trapped inside, the perplexed burglar discovered himself ensnared in the precise location he meant to loot. His further attempts to flee were useless. He feverishly tried to open the gate and even used a wooden display shelf to prevent prospective rescuers. In a final, desperate move, he took a fire extinguisher and smashed a window in an attempt to escape. But his escape was short-lived. As he climbed out the damaged window, he was greeted by a group of vigilant police officers waiting outside. Father and son defends. In a stunning turn of events in 2017, two would-be thieves chose the wrong location for their failed heist, attempting a cash grab at the Zcom cell phone store in Arlington, Texas. Unbeknownst to them, they were about to face stiff resistance from the shop's owner, Kurum Manga, and his son. The incident began when the burglars, armed and determined, broke into the store. One of the offenders brazenly displayed his weapon and leaped over the counter, ready to carry out his plan. Unfortunately, their expectations were quickly dashed. Manga's kid, showing extraordinary bravery and fast thought, jumped into action to meet the menace. He and his father engaged the armed assailant with decisive force, successfully subduing and restraining him on the floor. The fight became more heated when the second robber, who was also armed, pulled out his own pistol, exacerbating an already tense scenario. Fortunately, the second assailant refrained from deploying his weapon, keeping the situation under control. With their plans collapsing, the second suspect decided to cut his losses and flee the area, leaving the store unharmed. Despite Manga and his son's strenuous efforts to arrest both criminals, they were ultimately able to escape. Thief gets trapped. On 17 April 2017, surveillance footage from a cell phone store in Houston, Texas, captured a dramatic and sad scene that mirrored the 5 phases of grief. John Bell, an armed man with evil intentions, approached the store with calm authority and demanded money from an employee, his voice filled with fear. However, his robbery attempt was foiled when the employee and 2 customers fled the scene, locking Bell inside the store. Realizing he was stuck, Bell's initial confidence gradually faded into a succession of desperate behaviors that paralleled the stages of grief. His initial reaction was one of astonishment and denial. He shot several bullets at the lock, expecting to force his way through. When this failed, he became enraged and frustrated, attempting to kick down the door with increasing force. As the truth of his situation became clear, Bell's desperation gave way to bargaining. He began praying with any possible higher power or supernatural force, his cries of, "Please, please, please,
please, please, please,
reverberating throughout the store in a devastating display of helplessness. 80-year-old defends against 4 thieves. In a graphic illustration of the saying, "Play stupid games, win stupid prizes," an audacious criminal's attempt to rob a liquor shop in Norco, California, ended in a dramatic manner, illustrating both the perils of criminal conduct and the tenacity of individuals who refuse to be frightened. The event began when a suspicious car approached the booze store, its objectives unknown. Craig Cope, the store's 80-year-old owner, was well aware of the risks associated with his business. Cope braced himself for the worst when his sharp instincts detected the threat. As the would-be robber stormed inside the company, holding an assault rifle and pointing it menacingly at Cope, the elderly proprietor stood firm behind the counter. Cope took swift action before the thief could complete his demand. With incredible calm and precision, he fired a single shot that struck the robber in the arm. The footage taken by the store's CCTV cameras depicted the immediate aftermath of the confrontation. The injured thief fled the business and sought cover in a getaway vehicle parked outside, which was inhabited by his accomplices. The attempted robbery quickly unraveled when all 4 suspects were captured at a local hospital where they had sought treatment for their injuries. Law authorities promptly apprehended them, putting an end to their nefarious activities. Clumsy robber. In a spectacular turn of events, a masked robber experienced an unexpected reversal of fortune during an attempted heist at the Country Inn and Suites in Paducah, Kentucky, in 2019. Corey T. Phillips, the young man behind the mask, attempted a bungled robbery with a handgun. His plan appeared to be going perfectly when he demanded money from the receptionist. The CCTV cameras caught his brave act, chronicling every detail of his daring action. Phillips first succeeded in frightening the receptionist, who started handing over the money. However, the scenario took an unexpected turn when the receptionist grasped a critical chance. With a sudden rush of courage, she snatched the handgun Phillips had used to threaten her and pointed it back at him. This abrupt shift of power caught everyone by surprise, completely changing the dynamics of the robbery in an instant. Phillips' confidence broke as he realized he was now at the mercy of the very weapon he had wielded. Overwhelmed by the new threat and feeling the failure of his intentions, he fled the scene in panic. But his escape was short-lived. Law authorities quickly apprehended him, putting an end to his disastrous theft. Jailed at robbery. An armed thief found himself in a delightfully bad scenario that resulted in his imprisonment for 3 years and 4 months, due to the quick wits and daring of a savvy shopkeeper. Malcolm Trimble, the criminal, had entered the store with a kitchen knife concealed beneath his sleeve, planning to commit a frightening theft. His plans, however, were drastically altered when the shopkeeper showed incredible mental fortitude. Trimble displayed the knife and threatened the merchant, prompting the shopkeeper to make a risky move. With quick thinking, he managed to lock Trimble inside the store by holding the door closed. In an incredible act of defiance, he activated the store's security system, causing the roller shutters to collapse and bar the entrance. Trimble, now stuck within, made desperate attempts to escape. Trimble, in a desperate push for freedom, attempted an innovative escape plan reminiscent of Indiana Jones. He dived beneath the sliding shutters in a last-ditch attempt to flee. Unfortunately for him, his timing was incorrect. As he approached the breach, the shutters lowered, trapping him between the metal panels. His head remained inside the store, but his torso was trapped outside, completely immobilizing him. Trimble had little choice but to accept defeat when confronted with this ludicrous situation. While waiting for the authorities, he opened a can of beer to relieve his thirst, pondering on the absurdity of the situation. We hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.